are a CHInoy, then you probably know him. He has charmed endless crowds and made every wedding he hosted exceptional. The man who changed the landscape of Filipino-Chinese wedding scene, Mr. Michael Lim. Michael Lim actually started out as a performer, and the only time he holds the microphone is when he sings. But about 20 years ago, Michael practically stumbled upon his hosting career.
When I was a kid, I was already participating in various declamation contests. You know how we're trained in school, and I also sing as well. One time I remember I got invited to a friend's wedding. My parents actually were invited, and then I was supposed to sing at that particular party, but the host did not show up that day. I believe one of the friends did not show up. So since I was singing, they asked me to say a few words as well. And then I realized I can easily do this. This is just like second nature to me. So I started doing it, and everything else was just history.
他是以中英两种语言主持而出名的，这使他成为了如今最成功的主持人。
In China, the more universal language is really Mandarin. So if you went to school, people in China expect you to speak Mandarin. Whereas most of the Filipino Chinese here, they hail from the Fujian province. And this is why our mother tongue is Hokkien or Fujianese. So prior to my entry in the industry, most of the hosts would speak in Hokkien or in Fujianese. And I thought of changing it a bit and using Mandarin. So I was the pioneer in the bilingual hosting, meaning in the Mandarin and English hosting. From then on, I think my career started, and I've been doing wedding hosting for more than 20 years.
As a professional and artist, he allowed himself to grow and made it into TV. In the early 20s, he first became a TV host in AM at NBN.
Now, 20 years, that's a long time. I've done more than, I think, 2,000 weddings. And 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago, when this group of Filipino Chinese producers were looking for a Chinese host, one day I received a phone call, and by default, I was one of the hosts. So that's how I started hosting on TV as well. And after my hosting gig with I'm at NBN, I believe that was the first show, and then we moved to IBC. I forgot the names of the shows, and then I also taught Mandarin on cable. So basically, that's how I started my so-called career in the hosting industry.
除了当主持人以外 ，Michael 也在 De La Salle University 担任教授。他同时也是 Fashion Police 的创始者。
On and off, I taught English, I taught speech, and then now I'm actually with the marketing and advertising department of De La Salle University. So that is one of my other careers, a teacher. I'm also a blogger. I write this blog called Fashion Police, that's PULIS.com. And I also do hosting. I also do a little business on the side. It's pretty much everything. Yeah, I try to be very well-rounded.
It is unquestionable that Michael is very proud of his lineage and his opinion. He takes pride in our ability to easily adapt and be linguistically talented.
I always tell my Filipino friends, one of the many advantages of being Filipino Chinese is our ability to adopt. I'm very thankful that I'm Filipino Chinese, because otherwise I will not be this fluent in several languages and dialect. Our tongue is just trained to be so flexible in different languages. Not just in languages, I believe it's also because of culture.
After dozens of shows, 25,000 blog followers, and more than 2,000 weddings, he wants to be remembered as a passionate person who has given his entire life doing what he loves most, which is basically what he wants to impart to every aspiring host.
I want to be remembered as someone who is passionate about what I do. Someone who has given his life doing what he loves to do most. And I can tell you, up to now, I've been doing this for more than 20 years, but every time I hold onto the microphone and I stand on stage, I still feel this rush and passion, and I want to be remembered. And that's how I want to be remembered. My pieces of advice to the people who want to be host or hostesses. In life, I always tell my siblings, I always tell my friends, do not think about the money. Yes, I know it's very hard to do that because we all work for the cash, we all work for the mula. But you just have to be very good at what you do. Love what you do, dedicate your life to it, think of ways on how you can better yourself, and I assure you, the money will just follow easily. 我是林宏杰 and I'm very, very proud to be